Thanks to everyone who watched my first video and who commented and who reached out to me via text or email to share their stories, and people who I didn't know were survivors either. So feel free to put in the comments on any of my videos tips of how you stay alive and thrive and different ways that you find your joy. I would love to create a support system for all of us. Today's video is for anyone who has been told they're going to hell or someone that they love. And first of all, can I just say I'm so sorry that someone told you that. And the only explanation I have is that they were speaking out of fear and probably back to a time when someone scared them with the thought of eternal damnation for being human. So I just want to tell you I don't believe that, and I hope you'll give me a chance to share why. Firstly, just as a mother, I know there's nothing that my daughter could do that would make me not love her and eternally punish her. Even if my daughter was like, I don't love you, I don't believe in you, I don't want to talk to you anymore, I would still be waiting for that phone call, right? I would still be hoping for the day that we were reunited. So to me, if God is, in my mind, the creator of the Big Bang, the creator of the cosmos, and the synapses in the brain, and chloroform in the leaves so that they can have photosynthesis, all these amazing things, but yet God doesn't have the same amount of compassion that I do, and I can barely do algebra. That doesn't make sense to me. So I, as a mother, know that's not possible, that even if you don't believe that God is in you, whenever you're reunited with your Creator and your light goes back into the light, we'll all be all-knowing, and we will remember who we were before we came into this body on this planet, right? So in my mind, the only people that would be going to hell would be actual demons. And don't feel bad for them, because that's where demons want to be. Demons don't want to be in the light. They don't want to be with God. They want to be in the darkness. A demon, to me, in my mind, is someone who's a child rapist, someone who is a warlord that tries to annihilate a group of people that look different from them. Those are demons in my book. And if you've never met one, then I pray that you won't. But if you do, you'll know. And so to me, anyone who is human, has love in their heart, is already with God. God is already working through them just by being the action of love. Now, whether or not you call it the same thing I call it, or recognize it, or worship the same way, is kind of irrelevant, because we're the same. We came from the same source. And so I believe we will all be together again. And no matter if you're atheist, Muslim, agnostic, Buddhist, how could Buddhists be anti-Christian when Buddhist was like 2,500 years before Jesus? He wasn't anti-Jesus. He was another prophet that spoke many truths and suffered for his convictions like Jesus did. So I base almost all of my moral code on what Jesus said, not what other Christians said. Even the Bible, which was written, many translations by many people, and humans are faulty. So I try to find the truth in the scriptures, but anything that doesn't sit right with my heart as being from God, I kind of give that over to men are faulty and probably had maybe inspiration, but I don't believe in the verbal inspiration that God gave them those words, and that when they defeated an army and destroyed the town, that they said, this was the work of God. Maybe, but I don't think so. And once again, this is all just how I see things and what makes sense in my heart. I could be wrong too in a lot of ways. In fact, I hope so. If my little brain can understand the entire cosmos of the universe, then God wouldn't be as spectacular as God is. So that is why I don't accept the condemnation from one human to another, that you are not good enough for heaven. Of course you are, because you are made in the light, and we will return into the light. When you hear people give their near-death experiences, and they talk about walking into the light and the warmth and the love, and how they all of a sudden know and understand. Well, I find this to be very helpful clues as to what the next life has in store. And one in particular that really made an impact on me, it was a man's story who died and then came back to life. And before he died, he was a terrible person. Even his wife and children said so. He was an angry drunk. He had never gone to church. He had never had any use for Christianity. And when he died, he went to a place that was devoid of light and love and was nothing but cold and sadness. And even then, a light appeared to him, and it showed him as a little boy, 3 or 4 years old, who was singing Jesus Loves Me because he'd gone to VBS with his grandma, and feeling that connection to his eternal soul, his God within himself. And the light said, "You knew me once, come know me again." And then as soon as he went towards that light, he was transported into heaven, and that he was surrounded by love and light and people that he had known that passed before him. So they brought him back to life, and even his wife and kids said in this interview that he was a different person. He came back a completely changed man. So if God can do that for somebody, then what can't God do? And how far can you keep yourself from God's love? Even if you made these mistakes yourself, even if you're like, oh, but I like to kick kittens, God understands why you're like that, why somebody put that hurt into you that you're inflicting on someone else. And once you realize that, you can stop kicking those little kittens, because now you realize that it wasn't fair when it was done to you, and heal that part so you don't feel the need to do it to someone else. I hope that this gives a little light and relief to anyone who has been told that someone that they love is rotting in eternal damnation. I love God more than anything, and we're pretty close. And I just want to tell you that there's not a lot of things in this life that I'm sure of, but what I am sure of is that love is God. God is love. And if you have love, you are God in action. And fear is never a motivator, only love. Thank you so much for listening today. And please, please spread this video to people who need to hear it, because so many people live their lives with this fear and base love and life choices on whether or not they're going to a fiery pit. So please spread this news, because if I get nothing else across in the world, this would be the one thing that I would really love for everyone to know. Thanks. Bye-bye.